10 minutes.
What?
Sunny Monani, guys. Let us just find our bearings. But good evening to you guys. Welcome to Woman Crush Wednesday. With the fans on, you're going to be chilling with myself, Roz, and our guest, Jody, right up until 7 o'clock this evening. I'm just going to wait until our members and pianists join us, and then we are going to dive into tonight's topic. Where is everybody? Sound check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
I've got my subtitles.
Okay, while we're waiting for everyone to join us in the stream, while we are waiting, guys, as you are aware, we are running a campaign called Fund Tony's, what is it? Fund Tony's Bike Campaign. I don't even know my own campaign, but anyway, Roz and I are on a mission. We are raising funds. For those of you who have followed the journey, you guys are well aware that I accepted the challenge last October to be joining and lighting the Amashova this year, right? Remember, we celebrate the month of October to our survivors, thrivers, warriors, and those that we have lost for cancer. So, guys, we are raising funds with that. So, please, guys, the banking details are on the page. If you guys can come through with whatever, please assist us. We are trying to grab up, trying to fund the bike, trying to fund the gear, the shoes, everything, so that I can jump into training as soon as possible. Right. You're gonna Zabalaza. Roseanne, are you?
Zabalaza the bike.
No, are you gonna greet? No, you're not greeting anybody.
No, I am gonna greet everybody. Are you done with everything that you're doing?
I'm here. Our guest is ready.
I guess this is
cracking his neck like he's doing a warm-up. I wish you guys can see what transpires backstage when we do our StreamYard interviews. We can actually see our guests backstage, but you cannot until we drink.
Is that the haka?
Hey, what are you doing? Okay, anyway, he is warmed up and he is ready to come and greet you guys and speak to us. So Roz is going to greet everybody and then we're going to drive straight into it.
Okay, so I'm going to wait for a little bit more people to come in because now we're sitting on 10 and I know that a lot of people wanted to see this. So I'm going to greet, hi Mrs. Nibbles. Guys, if you didn't see our post.
We all talk with Nibbles today. And it fits in with the theme. I was just, playing around with words there. So basically, we've teamed up Jody with back to school.
Guys, extramural.
100%. And we've aligned that with our goodies and our eats. So when I posted this picture, just maybe about half an hour ago, if you haven't seen it, I had said, we've got some goodies. We've got some nibbles for our show. And how can we have a show without nibbles? It's like going to school without lunch. So I said we'll catch you in class at 6 o'clock for our showtime. So
okay, before we get to Jody, because Jody's going to tell us his journey, very inspiring, very motivational. But I thought that it would be a nice time because when I was approached and I was like, hey guys, you need to speak to this guy. I kind of wanted to align it with something. So obviously the extramural, the schools have started and then now the sporting is starting. So I wanted to align it with a sport because I know a lot of the kids in the group do go to schools, do play rugby, play hockey, they play lots of things. Our children are way more active. What? Oh, netball. Sorry, netball. Let's not forget netball, Coach Tony. Can you see Coach Tony looking at me like that?
Can you forget like my sports? Yo.
I mean, guys, even up to chess. Like, I'm having such a problem with my child. My child is, well, I have 2 kids, So Jada is very athletic. Jada was, I think, the captain of every team that there was in our primary school. And then through our high school, she played netball, she swam, she done all the coastal sports. So I had no problem with Jada. My problem is with Jude. Jude tells me straight, Mom, I'm not a sports kid. So I'm trying to get him to play chess. Because he can play chess. He could play chess from the age of 3. He could play chess because Jada went KZN for chess. So she obviously taught her brother how to play chess. And last year, he seemed quite excited at the fact that he can play chess. And then this year, when the roster came out, I'm like, yeah, you can play chess. He's like, no, I'm not interested.
Must have passed.
I'm like, what?
It comes in phases.
So now I have to find an extramural for this child, and everything that I've mentioned, he doesn't want to do. So yeah, guys, parents out there, I know exactly what you're going through when it comes to extramurals, because in certain schools you have to play a sport, and unfortunately, it's not negotiable. Okay, so I see we've got 23 people in the stream. We've got Jody anxiously waiting backstage. So I'm just going to run through everybody, greet everybody, and then we're going to jump right into our interview with Jody. Okay, so good evening, Vanessa. Good evening,
He's having a WhatsApp break, guys.
Hi, Emmeline. Okay, hi, Uncle Nibbles. Thank you so much. He was waiting. I hadn't even come home from work, and Uncle Nibbles was waiting there with our delivery. Good evening, Carol Dickens. Good evening, Carrie Singh. Hi, Auntie Beverly. Roland, I see you there. Hi, Laurel. Hi, Sam. Hi, Candace. Hi, Mal, Security. Hi, Alicia. How are you doing? Okay, so there are some people that I actually can't see in the stream, but we do have 24 people on stream. So we're going to bring Jody in. Jody's going to give us a little introduction, and then we're going to go right into it.
And we're going to zabalaza the things. Right, let's go. What's happening?
What's happening, everybody? Good evening, girls. Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome. I only speak like 3 sentences during this interview stage. So my introduction is basically, we would like to thank you for taking the time out to come and speak to us during your busy schedule. And I'm going to hand you over to Roz. She's going to dive into what you've spoken about, basically our topic. All right.
Okay, so Jody's not an unfamiliar name. Jody is born and bred in Newlands East. We all know that. And Jody is currently abroad. But I'm going to let you tell that story, Jody. You're going to tell us, give us a little introduction and where you are and what are you doing.
Okay, name is Jody Jenneker, born and bred in Newlands East, as Roz just said now. I've been living abroad for the last 10 years now. I'm residing in France. I went to Roseland Primary School in Newlands East in Garupa Crescent, and went to further my studies in DHS. Started playing rugby in the community at the age of 11 years old, and later on progressed and moved on to DHS, which is Durban High School in Musgrave, where I got offered a full scholarship and bursary for my extracurricular activities. And from there things just started flying.
Okay, so I want to ask you, you come from a rugby family. Because now that I'm speaking to you, I remember your brother.
Yeah.
Your brother played rugby, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, he played rugby. So now it's coming back, I kind of see it. So now what I want to ask you, where did rugby come from? Like, was it in your family, or was it something that you looked and you said, you know what, I want to play that sport? Or like, how did that all come about?
Initially, it wasn't in our family. My eldest brother, as you know, David Jenneker, who was in NES, Newlands East Secondary, was also the head boy of the school. He played rugby in high school along with heaps of other guys from Newlands. And I was still young at the age, so we as a family used to go watch his games, whether it be in the school grounds or against other schools. We would go on the weekends and we watch him, and from there it took an interest to me. I started off actually being a ball boy. There's a lot of us who used to be ball boys, and we used to go run around, fetch the balls when they go out in the bush and over the fence and things like that. And then because I became so regular at the games, I got attracted by the sport, and eventually I started playing. My brother became the coach of a junior team. So a lot of us whether we were in Roseland, in Barrascuda, Fandel, all the primary schools, we would have like a little junior team going in the community. So to answer your question, I basically followed the footsteps of my elder brother. So that's how we got introduced to rugby, was via him. So.
Okay, how old were you at the time?
I think if I can be more specific, I think I was 11 years old. if I'm not
11.
mistaken.
Okay, so
11.
that's more or less around about the time that kids start actually wanting and taking interest into certain sports. So I
Yeah.
want to ask you, so you said that it wasn't a school rugby league, it was a out of school rugby league. So was
Yeah.
this spearheaded by your brother, where he actually recruited different players and he got a team together? Did you guys used to verse other areas, or was it just amongst yourselves?
Yeah, listen, eventually, not eventually, but it started off with the Kings Park Rugby Union that was involved in the development of the sports in the
Okay.
communities.
Okay.
So it was called Durban Development Rugby, if I can remember properly. So he eventually took on this role, or he took it amongst himself to be the spearhead of this project. So, like I previously mentioned, it wasn't just one specific school; it was all the primary schools in the community, and it wasn't really a thing of a selection and who's the best players, who's the worst players. So, whenever we played, we would play in tournaments against other schools from other areas, and everybody who was there at the day would participate. So it's not just playing the best team; it was sharing the sport, it was growing the sport. Let everybody who's on board participate and play in some role. Whether if you play 5 or 6 games, everybody is going to share each game.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
So
you're
it
not
was
going to
a
leave there.
social
You're not
club.
going to exactly.
It was a social
So
club.
yeah, so I mean, I think it was a very great initiative because at that age you actually want to be part of something, so you don't be feel like you're left out of what's going on. I mean, there's a
Yes,
tournament going on. You bench. You're on the sideline. You're not playing. You're not participating. And next thing you're not coming to trainings. You're losing interest in the sport just because you don't have a sense of belonging. So
oh,
which I appreciated, and I think it played an important role in many of our lives that we became a part of something.
okay. So you said something that actually grabbed my attention, and I know that a lot of parents that listen to us, James, would actually want to know, because my son is in grade 6, and I'm very soon going to be applying to high school for my son.
Hmm.
And we all know how applying to high schools, you apply to the different high schools, and it's actually really difficult sometimes to get into certain high schools. So
Yeah,
you mentioned that you were offered a scholarship and you
yeah,
actually schooled at BHS.
yeah.
So can you, that process, okay, so can you take us through that process? Was it something that you worked towards? Was it something that you said, you know what, I want to go to that school because I want to be a part of that rugby team, and worked hard towards that?
Listen, to be honest with you, I was at the age I'm playing rugby, I'm having fun. I have no
Okay.
vision, I have no ambitions, I have no desire, no, I don't know where this was going. I'm just a kid having fun, playing with the ball. So to answer the question, we were going for, at that time it was called Durban trials. So we're all gonna have trials now. So the whole team, the whole squad, okay, we're gonna have trials for now to get selected for Durban. So all the schools from Durban were involved, whether it's the
Yes.
government schools, or private schools, the white schools, the colored schools, whatever. All the schools in Durban will play rugby, come and participate. We're gonna pick the best kids. So I was one of those kids playing in Newlands colors, and that's when I got scoped playing against, because they would mix the teams. They
Mm.
won't just make it a color school and it's a white school. Okay, they'll
Yes, yes,
just
yes.
they will just name names, and next
Mm.
thing is it's a mixed team.
Yes.
And then I was playing, and then a couple days later we get a phone call. The DHS from my parents. We would like to see you and speak to you about offering your son a full scholarship and bursary to our school. And 2 3 days later we were there, and I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And next thing Monday, I'm in a full blazer on the bus going to Musgrave to go to DHS. So
That that
that's
that
everything
is
happened.
that is so awesome, because
So
that you must have had some real talents. Because let me tell you, my daughter, we applied to 5 schools, and I think a lot of people in the audience will actually agree with me. So you apply to 5 schools and you keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Because for number one, our disadvantages, we're out of the area. So they already, we out of the area. Number two, your grades have to be up to standard and your sporting has to be up to standard. And we know in our areas, our schools, we're on the back foot when it comes to stuff like that. So basically, you apply to these schools and you keep your. So this is freaking amazing. Like you just got seen and snatched up and cool. So tell me something, right? So you were playing rugby socially.
Yeah.
You got to DHS, and obviously boys that come from Chelsea Prep and Glenwood Prep and all the other schools where they actually grew up playing the sport competitively and had coaching, like coaching clinics and stuff. How did you fit into that? Did you find that there was a lot that you learned? Did you have to catch up with certain things, or were you able to get into it and to just run
with your raw talent?
With your raw talent, yeah.
Listen, to be honest with you, I had to take some adapting because firstly I'm from Newlands. I went to let me come back. I was in NES for five months before I got a scholarship to DHS. So I was in NES initially. So I had to take some adapting. Okay, grown up in a colored area, went to colored schools. Now suddenly I'm in a white school, white environment. Everything's different. Like you say, these kids were brought up in the culture from kids from primary schools, and I wasn't brought up in this culture. So I'm at the age of 14, 15 going to this. Okay, like, what's going on here? No, kind of. But I was open and I was accepting the challenge. That's my kind of character that I am. Yeah. So I did take some adaptation, especially with my discipline, because I was a bit of a hothead when I was younger. So I was a type as what we would say. I don't take cuck, So so now this is a school where it's very strict. It's very strict. Everything is done by the book, and if you don't follow rules, you're gone. So obviously, I knew this is a big opportunity for me, and it's something that I'm making my parents proud of. So at the age of 14, not only am I facing adversity and challenge, I also have a weight on my shoulder of making my family proud. So I did take some time to adapt, and eventually it came right, and I became a in-house name in the school because of, like I said, my raw talent. So there was some things I had to fix on the side, and the other things on the other side is what got me there and why they wanted me there. So it was more of a cultural thing than anything else. Because in terms of the sports side of things, I had it. That was covered because there was no problem with that. Because I've done the sport for a few years already. Well, at the age of 14, I already doing 3 or 4 years of rugby, whatever. So it's kind of like I'm familiar with the sport and what it takes. But it's just in terms of the culture of the school is something I had to deal with.
Can I ask you about your academics? So I know that in the Model C schools, your academics have to stay up if you are playing sports. So there's no compromise. Your academics have to be on par and your sports has to be on par. So how did you manage your academics because I know the rugby schedules are kind of hectic in those schools. So how did you manage the academics with the sports?
Listen, it was a fair balance. Everything was managed pretty good by the school because we would do school during school hours, and then sports was done after school. So there was no sports in between school unless like we do, like you have your PE class and all that, which is normal, and you're back to class. So that was done well, but the workload was much more than what I was used to. Because, I mean, from the first minute to the last minute of the period, you're graphing. You're graphing. As soon as you walk in class, that teacher closes the door, it starts. As soon as the bell goes to open, you go. So I know that thing of 5 minutes, you're talking to your bras, or right? You're eating a sandwich under the desk. It was none of that nonsense. So, but the thing is, what also helped me, and I'm very grateful for that, a lot of the teachers kind of understood where I'm coming from, and I wasn't brought up in this from the beginning, So they made the effort along with myself to make the effort,
Yes.
So if ever had problems or difficulty, whether it be the workload, because my attention span is this much, because since Roseland, this is how much we did, and now you're doing this much.
Yes.
So they did come to the party, and it did help me. Like I said, I definitely had a part to play. But like everything else in life, I mean, you just it has to come from you first. So the teachers knew that I'm willing to adapt, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to make the sacrifices, and they came to the party as well. I mean, because there was a lot of other guys next to me that wouldn't give a damn, because for their personal reasons, and the teachers wouldn't care about them. It's not that the teachers wouldn't care. It's like, listen, if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to force you. But if you want to do it, I'm here to help you. So I took on that approach as fast as I could, to try and adapt as fast as I could, to make life simpler for myself and for everybody else. So
okay, can I ask you that? What was your school day like? Because I know, or how long was your school day? Because I know
buckle up for this one.
I pick my daughter up sometimes from, well, she's matricked last year. But I used to pick up sometimes to school at 6:30. And when they used to go on tournaments, like if they're going to a school in Toti, I'm like sitting outside the school like 7:30, 8:30, waiting for the school bus to come back. know? So can you tell me your days? What was your school day like, which is obviously including your rugby practice and everything. So what was your school days?
Okay, I'll start from waking up. I was waking up from 5:30 in the morning. Okay, wake up at more or less the same time as my father used to go work. I think he used to work in Tokyo. Or I promise you. Wake up at 5:30. And now I'm obviously getting ready and dressed for school, because the bus used to pick me up at 6:10 in the morning. I'm at the bus stop. I have to be at the bus stop 6 in the morning to get picked up between 10:10 and 6:15. Arrive at school maybe just after 7, to say 7:20. The school will start 8:00. Okay, we do our normal school day. We would finish school at 2:30 in the afternoon, and rugby would start about 3:00. So we'd have our rugby practices maybe until 5-ish, 5:30. So I'm gonna take a shower, and I'm leaving the school premises at 6 in the evening. So I would catch a bus, depending on traffic and all those things, between 6:15 and 6:30. And because we're sitting in traffic going home, everyone's going home from work, I would sometimes get home at 7:07. And that's not it. Now I've got to do homework.
Yes.
Now I got to do homework. So sometimes I get home, drop my bags, somebody even stay in my school uniform, take my towel, get my clothes off, have my supper, and then I'm straight into the books to do my homework. And by the time I'm finished homework, it's ready 9:00, and take my shower, and I'm back to bed and repeat. So that was literally 4 days a week. So Monday to Friday, and then Saturdays I have a game.
Yes.
So whether it depends what time I'm leaving, because if we play at our school, we will play in the afternoon. So you can leave home maybe 11:00, 12:00. But if you're playing away, sometimes we should play in Pietermaritzburg. So the bus is leaving at 7:07 in the morning. It's leaving 7:07 in the morning. So now, obviously, it's so early. That time on the weekend, there's no work buses. So this is when my father had to come in, and he would have to take me to school to pick up the bus, and then come home. And then later on, come home, same, like you say, 6:00, 7:00, we're coming back home. And so basically I was in rugby season, I was taking 6 days a week.
Okay.
And then Sunday, I'm going to Sunday school.
Yes,
now I'm joking. Sunday school is Sunday.
Okay, so now I want to ask you that. So before I ask you this question, I want you to tell everybody what's your current position and what you're currently doing now. Okay,
it's been, like I mentioned, it's been 10 years now that I've been in France. I came here to play rugby. I've been playing rugby. This is my 5th club now in France. And play. I don't know what else can I say. I'm currently playing rugby.
Okay, so that is your career. That's your career.
Right?
That is what you're doing. That's your career. That is what you're doing.
That's my career.
So when you were in high school, right, and you started playing rugby, did you at any point know that this is what I'm going to do? This is what I want to do. I'm going to make a career out of it, and that's it.
No, I didn't ever think I could firstly make a career out of rugby. I didn't think I'm going to make a career out of rugby. I always thought, okay, I want to be either a policeman or a fireman, or maybe even in the army. That is what I always thought after school I'm gonna get into, because I used to like being part of some sort of thrill or action or something like that. So I always thought, I'm gonna probably end up in a police force or in the army or a fireman. And then, as rugby progressed in high school, I started getting selected for Natal under 14, Natal under 16, selected for Natal under 18 3 times from the age of 15, 16, 17. And then from there, Natal under 19, Natal under 20, and so on and so on. And then I moved on to play for the Sharks. So, like I said, I had no ambitions, no aspects, I just, each year I just went from one thing to the next. So, next thing I'm doing,
Can I ask you, that's Glenwood DHS rivalry.
Yeah.
Please tell us about this DHS Glenwood boys rugby rivalry, because it's still going on up until today.
Yeah, listen.
We used to go to the games, and it's still going on. And DHS apparently took the title last year, and the year before, which was Glenwood's long-standing title, apparently, and then took it. So that rivalry has been going on for years. Listen,
I think this rivalry is going on 100 years before my time, and I think it's going to go on for another 100 years more after. It's something. It's the culture of the two schools. It's the rivalry. It's the derby. It's the Manchester Liverpool. It's something. It's something that's never going to die down. It's something that's coming from stone ages, and it's something that's still going to happen for generations to come. And
how are you playing those games?
Listen, that we would play every other game like a normal game, but it was no question we cannot lose to Glenwood. That's it. And you can lose 19 out of 20 games, but it is easy to lose against Glenwood. And I don't know if it still happens today. And traditionally, what we used to do, the first team the night before the game, we used to all meet up and go to Glenwood and ring their bell and ring their bell. So once you do that, that kind of means we came in your home and you did nothing about it, kind of a thing, So they would also come to our school and try and do something else, So obviously we would have guys at our school keeping Zui, and we would go to their school and try and do something else, So but the biggest thing was to try and ring their school bell, because there's only certain and special occasions that bell can be rung.
Yes, okay.
And so nobody can just go there and ring our damn bell, So so if we get that right, so yeah.
But
so
I think that's healthy, because it gives you that edge. It makes you want to be better. It's something to strive. I know there's a lot of naughtiness and a lot of mischievous that happens around it, but at the end of the day, it taught you how to be competitive.
Yeah,
it actually does. It's a good culture to be a part of. And I mean, guys, that is like long-standing. Like, ask anybody. Like, I know about it because my daughter went to Durban Girls Eye. So obviously, with Durban Girls Eye, everyone goes to watch the games, and so it's a whole thing. It's such a big hype around this game. She was actually saying to me the other day that there's such a stigma around the rugby and the guys, that the Glenwood guys don't like the DHS guys, rugby guys, and it's not like, but it's not a bad thing where it turns ugly. It's just it's the thing. I play rugby for this. So
let me tell you something quickly while we're on that topic. I caught up with a few of my friends from school days and guys from Glenwood. It was more of a rugby circle than the actual school circle. And we went out once and I bought, like, where every guy's having his round of drinks, So there was like 8 or 9 of us, something like that. So I only ordered 8 drinks, and I didn't order 1 drink. So as the waitress came and drops the drinks, and then everyone's like, no, one more for the guy. I'm no, fuck him. So I'm like, everyone's like, why? No,
It's from Glenwood.
you went to Glenwood. he can buy his own drinks. He can buy his own drinks. Yeah, there's a Glenwood. Everything can buy his own drink.
Yeah, but okay. So now, what I want to ask you, right? I can see that your life was centered around rugby from a very young age.
Yeah.
When you look at the age group around you, right, that helped you to be off the streets, to be off, not doing the normal mischievous peer pressure things that actually did happen. And we see it in our communities. We see the guys sitting on the road after school and stuff like that. So how did this sport actually help you to be focused? What advice would you give to the young people? Because I know, and you can tell them, get involved in something. Find your passion. So you don't have to be loitering around and on the streets. It's a proven fact. Getting involved in a sport helps in a whole lot of different things. And there's such a wide range of sports. But can you tell us, if it wasn't for rugby, where do you think you would be? Because I could see you were the one that didn't take any cuts. So where would you, how do you think rugby has helped you in your life?
Listen, I'm gonna answer this question in different parts.
That's fine.
Rugby didn't help me. Rugby saved my life.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Let me just put that out there, and I'll explain why. Because I got involved in rugby, or should I say sports, but in this situation, rugby. Why I say it saved my life? Because from a young age, I got involved in it. So it took me away from other influences.
Yes.
It distracted me. Because I grew up with guys, some still alive, some no longer with us. Because they had nothing else going for them, or they didn't get involved in anything else, they got distracted by the bad stuff. They got distracted by what was around them. We're all from the community. We know what happens around us. We see these things every day. So they go home, they see this thing. Okay, I got nothing else to do. Let me go hang around with the guys who are smoking. Next thing the guy becomes an addict. I'm gonna hang around with the guys who are drinking. Next thing the guy's an alcoholic. Okay, I'm gonna hang around with the gangsters. Next thing the guy's dead. You know? So that's why I say rugby saved my life, because it distracted me and it didn't give me the opportunity to see what else is out there for me.
Yes.
You know? And what advice I can give the youngsters is that, listen, we all have different dreams. We all have different ideas of what we want to do. We all have different passions and blessings installed within us, you know? And my message is partly for these kids and partly for the parents, is that don't feel intimidated or don't feel embarrassed by what dream you have, because everybody has something different in them, you know. And then we also get parents that have dreams that they want for their children, but not asking their children, what is it that you want? What do you want to do? You know? And then they're always, the son's not even born. My son's gonna be he's gonna be a soccer player. My son is gonna be a welder. The child hasn't even been born yet. He hasn't started working, but already you have his gymnast. And then when the child says, "Oh no, I want to be an artist," now you're sad and you're disappointed because it's not something that you wanted. You know? So for the children and for the kids or the youth watching this, and I hope there's quite a lot of you watching this, not to make myself famous, but really to get the message across, is that if you have a dream and a passion, no matter how small, how stupid, how silly it might look, protect that dream, chase that dream, follow that dream. You'll never know where you're going to finish with that dream. Yes, people might laugh at you. It might not be something that's common in your area or in your family or Why not make history? Why not be the first?
Yes.
Why not be the first to do this? And for the parents, support your children's dreams. Yes, it might not be what you want, but it's their dream, it's their life, it's what they want for themselves. So be encouraging, invest in them. When I say invest in them, I mean invest your time in them. Go watch their games, go watch their performances. If a child he wants to paint, buy him those paint brushes, buy him that paint, buy him that board, whatever he wants. If he's doing a concert where he's a singer, make time, be there for them, because those little things is what you would never know what's happening in the back of the child's mind just by seeing you there.
Yes.
My hair standing right to my body.
It's a proven fact, your presence there. But we also understand that some parents are single parents and some parents have to work. But a simple thing that also helps is, how was your game?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you enjoy your game?
Show interest.
The game? Yes, have a conversation with the child about the game. How did you feel? Like, who scored? What was the score? Asking all these questions. For those parents that can't be there, you're still showing an interest in the child's game. And then obviously those that you can go to, but speak to your children about these things. Show interest. Do you like it? Do you have fun when you're doing it? How does it make you feel? Is it a de-stressor? If you studied, go and play a game. That's your de-stressor. Be in tune with your kids. So you kind of know what kind of helps them out. Jody, it was absolutely
I've got
awesome
a question, Jody.
Yeah.
Before Rose says bye
I'm
to
not
you.
saying goodbye.
Ah, you're saying that's bye. That's your
Yeah,
cue.
she's jarring me. She's jarring me.
No,
she was.
She's like.
Jody, I've got a question. At the beginning of the show, you did speak about your brother and how he also played the sports and stuff like that. Was there any peer pressure with regards to, I know we spoke about you were following in his steps and stuff like that. Was that just your pure interest going into the sport because you were always there to watch him and stuff like that?
Yes. There was no peer pressure. Like I said, because I was involved, when I say involved, we were always at the game, being a boy and stuff like that. And then next thing, there's a team that's came up for the kids, and I was probably the first one to raise my hand, or yes, I want to play rugby. No, so there was no peer pressure. In fact, the gates were open by my brother. For not just myself, but for many youngsters.
Yes.
What position do you play?
It's not going to sound right in English, but it's a correct term, hooker.
Okay.
Describe that in English. And what does your brother play?
Okay, a hooker he wears the number 2 jersey. In the line out, when the ball goes out, he's the one that throws the ball in.
Oh, okay.
And then they jump and then they catch it.
And exactly. And when there's a scrum, I'm the guy in the front, in the middle. The term hooker, the term hooker comes in as
You hold the ball.
So when the ball comes in, I gotta hook the ball. So that's where the term comes hooker.
So you're the one that's holding onto the ball.
Yeah, so I'm there's normally in the front row, there's the 2 fat guys next to me, and I'm the one in the middle.
Yes. Okay.
So we are in the front line. We taking it in.
Yes.
And my brother, he was a flank. He was a number 6, number 7. He wasn't as tough as me, so he would be on the side of the scrum. And he would jump to catch the ball.
He's the opportunist looking waiting.
Now, have you ever played against him? Can you just run us through what that experience is?
Later on, we used to play against each other sometimes, but not like actual official game, but sometimes in training, because sometimes you got to actually train how you play, because you got to prepare for the bangs, you got to prepare for the knocks and things like that. So it used to be a love-hate thing, because he's the big brother, so he has to show his dominance. I'm the small brother, and I have to prove to my brother, like, hey, I'm standing my ground, So sometimes we actually used to get like in a bit of a scruffle. Yeah, so because I'm being as a younger brother, I wouldn't submit. And being the bigger brother, having that pride of I'm the bigger brother, you can't do this to me, kind of a thing. So
What is the age difference between you guys?
9 years.
But wait, how many siblings do you have? Because I was in school with David, and there's a 9-year gap there.
Yeah.
My gosh, how many siblings do you have?
It's David who's the first one, then it's my sister Annalie. We 4 years apart, and then it's myself.
Oh, I think your sister is closer to my age, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know your age, but she's 4 years apart from me.
Yeah, I think she's closer.
Okay, let's
to
start
my
with
age.
your age.
No, wait, we're not talking
No,
age.
I'm joking. Tell me, Jody, are you coaching rugby by any chance?
I am like partially. I'm busy coaching the juniors of the club that I'm playing for. I'm busy. I finished a coaching formation that could coach kids, and now I'm busy with a second coaching formation that I can coach professionally. So while I'm doing this formation, I'm busy coaching the juniors of my club right now, and potentially there could be an opportunity for me to coach them full time, because I think this is my last season. This is actually the first time that I'm actually might be announcing it. I think after the season I'm gonna retire. So this is actually the first time I'm saying this publicly.
That was my next question that I was
She's
going
telling
to ask
lies. She
you.
was saying goodbye to you long time.
That was my next question I was going to ask.
I'm a brother's opportunist.
What is the lifespan of a rugby player? Like, what age do you retire? Like, what is retirement age for a rugby player?
Listen, it's a question that's often asked, and there's no proper answer to this question, because guys retire at different ages for different reasons. Some guys retire in their early 20s because they're not making it, they're fed up, they have other opportunities they want to take up, or maybe just simply because of injuries. And then you get guys like myself. I'm going to be 38 now in April, and I'm still playing.
I didn't want to ask.
You got it out of you?
Yeah, so no, I'm not shy. I'm actually proud of my age and still playing professional rugby. So I mean, there's guys that like my age. It's to be honest, it's very rare that are still playing at this age. So like I said, guys retire for different reasons and at different ages. So, but outside to give you a roundabout figure, normally at the age of 32, 33.
Yeah, so like a soccer player.
We South Africans, we age gracefully.
Yeah.
Jody, your injuries now. Talk us through your injuries. What has been your most serious injury playing the sport? If ever. If any.
Listen, I've been very blessed with I'm not gonna say injury-free career, but not major injuries. I mean, all the injuries that I had was like little niggles, like a sprained ankle or a twisted knee or a broken thumb, or things that would set me up between 4 to 6 weeks. So I've never ever had an injury where I had to go on the table. I've never had an injury where I had to be operated on, or I'm out for 9 months or 6 months.
Original South African parts. I'm telling you.
Can I just tell you these original South African parts?
No.
2 ACLs.
Hello, but wait.
2 ACLs.
I am not 38, Roseanne. They don't make genuine parts like how they used to.
We're not cut from the same cloth. We're not cut from the same cloth.
100%. We're dealing with Hong Kongs here. I don't know what happened between the spare parts. But
you are from Hong Kong. I'm not.
There's something I wanted to ask.
Tony said 2 ACLs.
Tony, maybe there's something to do with me being from old section, you from new section.
No. But, can I just tell you? Tony went to Our Lady of Fatima from grade 0 to grade 12.
Yeah.
I will say no more.
So what you trying to say?
Nothing, man.
Anyway, I retired from soccer after that first ACL.
So now the second one come then.
Say it again?
So how did you get the second one?
Just play netball.
Oh.
But it's fine, I can go down for that sport. But the soccer, the ground is not, we're not playing on professional fields and all where the grass looks like,
like in France.
We're playing, the ground is terrible for soccer. And that's how I managed to snap it. Well,
Tony, we're playing in snow, yeah.
Right now, this is what I wanted to ask you. Is there a weight requirement for the guys that play rugby?
There's not. I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say no. But individually, you must be of a weight. let me put it in terms of where everybody can understand. You must be at a weight where you can carry yourself. You know you're at your best at 80 kilos. If you're now 90 kilos and you're struggling in training and in games, clearly there's something you need to do, or there's something that's wrong. So each individual has their own sort of calculations and own estimations and all those things. So globally, you can't say yes because you get a guy that's 150 kilos that can play a full game of 80 minutes, no problem. And then you get a guy that's 110 kilos that can't play 5 minutes. You know?
Okay, can I ask in reverse? Do you have to be a certain weight, weight to enter?
Rugby.
Because I can see myself playing rugby.
It's not for you.
Rugby.
Yeah, I feel like I'm too small.
Rugby is for all genders, all shapes, sizes.
Oh, okay.
I play touch rugby, but I'm not busy with the
Contact. Tony's not busy. Tony's scared.
I was
She
get
can,
the ball
run
and I used to run. That was my goal.
Roseanne, let me give you a typical example to your question you asked me about rugby and sizes. Look at Cheslin Colby. The smallest guy in the rugby field, but he's considered as the most dangerous rugby player in the world, and he's the smallest guy in the field every game.
I wouldn't say small, maybe the shortest, but he's not.
No, he's
small.
But he's for his size, yeah. But if you look at the guy next to him,
yeah.
Oh no, you see that someone saying I must pass the water.
Jody, tell us, have you been home since you're there?
Jody's always home, I think.
Yeah, I come home once a year.
So if you go for drinks, is the fans aren't gonna buy our own drinks now, or
I don't go to Fatima. I'm sorry.
No.
I thought you had
no rivalry.
rivals with Fatima.
Did you go to Glenwood? Did you go to Glenwood?
I went to Ness.
Okay.
I was
on me then. Then it's on me.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Sorry.
Jody, we would like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for coming through, for sharing your view, for talking to us. Jody plays in France, Alicia. There's a question. Maybe tell us, what club do you do? What? Moving and shaking?
Okay, let me just give you a small rundown. When I arrived in France, I was playing for the club Dijon Mustard, where they make the mustard.
Oh, wait, now, are you fluent in French, by the way?
Oui, je parle très bien français.
Okay, let's move on. How long did it take you to speak language?
About 2 to 3 years.
Sure.
What?
Yeah. So
something that you stay there, you have to. Okay.
Yeah,
anyway,
you have to. No, I mean it's. I'm in France. They speak French.
Wait. I have to put this up. I have to put that face up after you say those French.
What did you even say to us? We're just getting excited here.
No, I'm saying I speak fluent French.
Oh, okay.
She's like swearing us we don't even know.
No, I know. You're supposed to know too.
Me?
Mom plays a French surname.
Hey, hold on, Roseanne. But anyway, Jody, talk to us.
Yeah, so when I came, I went to Dijon, and then I moved to Lyon. I don't know if you know Lyon. That's Olympique Lyonnais, the big soccer club.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to Oyonnax, which is a small city. They're very close to Geneva.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I went to a team called Cast Olympique. We actually became the champions of France with Cast Olympique. The champions of France, basically, it's like winning the premiership in soccer.
Nice.
So I won the premiership in rugby in France. And then the club I'm playing for now, it's actually 2 cities that have combined. So one city was called Valence, and another city is called Romans. So the team is called Valence Romans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's where I'm playing now, and that's where I'm also going to be coaching.
Oh, awesome. So since you've publicly said that you're going to be retiring first on the fan zone. You see, we get the scoop first.
Hey, I'm telling you, uncut for you.
First on the fan zone. So for the rest of your retirement, you're going to be coaching. Is that the plan?
That's a short-term plan. Yes.
Okay.
Listen, it's rugby. Like through the conversation, you guys have learned that rugby's been a part of my life since the age of 11 years old, which that makes that 26 years of my life. So if I can go for another 26 years of my life doing what I love and what I've always done, it'll be a true blessing. And also teaching the sports, teaching what I've learned will also be my greatest honor.
That's fulfilling. Yeah. Can I ask you, Jody, do you have kids?
That was my next question.
Yes, I have two daughters. I have one that's living in Cape Town, and I have a French daughter, the one that's living here with me. And she's the one in Cape Town is 14 years old, and one here with me in France. She's going to be 3 now in May.
Okay, so is the 14-year-old, does she play any sports?
She does swimming. And she does hockey, and she does netball, and then she does piano, and then she does singing. She's at an age where she's finding herself.
After the mom and dad, probably.
She's at an age she's finding herself. Yeah. So.
And your 3-year-old, like, does she show any signs? Because I mean, when you go and you watch your dad playing rugby all the time, you tend to play with the rugby ball. You know, like throwing it around, catching it. Like, do you play like that with your kids?
Listen, she has a few rugby balls. Well, not has she stole a few of my balls because I used to have all my memories, and my Mirandas are playing finals and competitions and all that. So all my balls are stuck up in a room. She has a few rugby jerseys, and interesting enough, you said it because every time I watch rugby, she jumps on the couch, sits in between my legs, and she watches with me.
Oh, that is so cute.
And the thing is, she even identifies the sport, and she says, "Hey, there's rugby on TV." So she even puts on my headgear and things like that. She's a rugby fanatic.
So are you married? Sorry.
No, I'm not married, but it's considered as a common law here.
Yes.
Okay.
It's an official thing here on this side.
Okay, so I'm going to say your wife. How does your wife feel every time you run onto that field?
Listen, when we met, she knew who I was. She knew what she's getting into. So listen, she's my number one fan. They're always there for me if they can be at the games, because obviously sometimes the weather doesn't allow you to go to games because of the cold and the snow and the wet and all those things. But she's always backing me. She's always behind me, always sending me messages before the game. When I switch my phone on after the game, her name is always the first to pop up. Like you say, asking the questions. How was the game? How was everything? You know, so.
Wait, hey,
hold on, man. You've expired your questions.
No, wait. How did COVID affect the sport in France?
Listen, in the beginning, it kind of slowed things down. They started off like saying, listen, games might get called off, and even though they're still going on, but it was like kind of little bits and information coming in, and eventually they're like, listen, the government called all get-togethers, whether it's social or sports, everything's gonna stop. So we stopped for about 2 to 3 months, something around the sort. But what a time to be in France, because we were still getting paid.
Oh, okay.
So even though we weren't going to work, even though we were told to stay at home, the government really stepped in a way that you couldn't believe, because they instructed our employees to keep paying us, and they would reimburse our employers. So they would use government taxpayers' money to keep the country funded, you know?
Yes.
So there's no story of 500 billion disappearing. We saw where our 500 was coming because it was in our bank accounts. You know?
Okay, we've got one question from one of the listeners.
This is about the school things. But before you tackle this question from Candace, just touching on what you just said, Jody, did you guys still have to run a fitness program during these 3 months? Like maybe on your own way, there were certain things that you needed to do to sustain. Can you just walk us through what that was?
Listen, if you check on my Instagram page, Jody Jenneker, you would see during the confinement, I kept on doing my home training. So I would always like film it and post it, not for likes and things like that, like, because I know there's a lot of people in the same situation that didn't know what to do. So I was like kind of giving them online courses of like, listen, there's some ideas you can do in your house. 90% of the trainings I was doing in my house, and because we were allowed to be in a certain radius of our homes, I would do some road running and things like that, you know. So yes,
Okay.
I was training once, sometimes even twice a day during his
All
treatment.
you could do was train.
Yeah, so you know, so I mean, there was either that or sit and get fat and out of shape. So
Yes. Okay. So Candace Money has a question for you. Can you see it on the screen?
yeah. Yes, Candace. All the time I felt demotivated because listen. Firstly, like I mentioned, I would wake up early for school. I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. I would go through a day of schooling, and now I got to go train. You know, so even like in like just up to today in my professional environment, you get those days where you get demotivated. You're not feeling for it. It's cold. It's raining. You're tired. The baby's crying all night and things like that. So listen, but you always got to remember like your purpose. Why are you doing it? Why are you waking up every day to do this? You know, I mean, and that always wins the battle with me is like waking up and going to do my purpose. So that's what keeps motivating me when I feel down and out.
Okay.
There's something I wanted to ask you. My word, I was just looking. Oh, Jody, what is your language that you guys speak at home? Is it French?
French.
Okay. So baby is fluent.
Wait, do you mean in his household?
Yes, at home.
In your household. Okay.
Yes, we at home.
French.
Okay. Okay, but he lives in Zon, so
No, but I'm just asking. So baby only knows French.
No, I speak English, baby.
No, that's what I want to know.
She speaks both. The baby speaks both.
yeah.
Yeah. So we
No,
I'm-
if you had two
No, but
different
there's no need. Well, then just hold on, man. Hold on.
Why not?
Tell me now. This is my last question because Rosanna has exhausted all her questions. If baby grows up with a keen interest to play rugby,
yeah.
you would support her through this sport.
Yes, I would.
As hard as it might be.
Why would
As hard as it might be, but like
look, when my brother used to play rugby, right? And that was in school. And my mother used to always get the horrors when they used to run onto the field. You just
But that's why I asked the question about his wife.
As good as they are, like the other and depending on which schools you play, it's so weird. There's other schools that only know breaking, you know what I'm saying? And they come in and their supporters are all screaming that and breaking and do this and do that and stuff like that. So you're not really sure what you face
Tony,
what you up against some of the
Tony,
times.
Baby's father is from Newlands.
There you go. There you go.
Imagine now you must be running on the
Baby got Newlands blood in her. Baby got Newlands blood in her.
running with knives in the field.
Whole section. Yeah.
Just lift them and scoop them.
No. Listen, like if baby wants to play rugby, listen, there's no problem. But me as a dad having first-hand experience, I'll obviously pass on all my knowledge and experience onto her for her to be the best that she can be in the sport.
So when would you start like training her and teaching her and
listen?
They've got their own balance now.
Like I said, I'm gonna leave her to decide what it is that she wants to do. So if she wants to be a rugby player, okay, let's go. If she wants to be anything else after that, let's go. When she's ready to do what she wants to do, I'll be behind her.
Okay, we got about 2 or 3 questions. The one is on screen. Carol Dickens.
Carol, I don't know if you were here from the beginning. No, rugby was never my dream. Rugby was just something I started playing as a kid and had fun with and experiment with, basically, in a nutshell. And like I previously said, in high school, I never ever thought I'm going to be a professional rugby player. I thought I'll be in the police force or in the army or fireman, those guys. But as my school years went and started getting selected for junior provincial teams, and then from there I could see, okay, but rugby is kind of paving my path. So, and I stayed in the path. So yeah. So no, I never ever wanted to be a rugby player or a professional rugby player.
Alicia's very keen to know what's your opinion on the current Springbok team.
Listen, there's a very good thing that's going on there, and the good thing that I'm talking about is the team environment, because you can see genuinely each player that's on the team, he deserves a spot. So I got nothing bad to say. I got nothing negative to say. Just the guys are doing very well, and they must continue. Obviously, you know, we know in the sport in our country has some history with black and white, and are you in a team because you're black? Are you in a team because your father's this guy? And the quota system and things there. And I don't think that's the case today. I think every guy that's in the team deserves a spot, and he's there because he deserves it.
Right.
Correct. I think we are done. Hey, I think we are done. Jody, I'm gonna say goodnight to you again now. Third time. It has been awesome. Zane calls, we've got him in the house. He was late for the early show.
Yeah, Zane catch the show.
You need to catch up the show. You'll catch it up a little bit later. Jody from our side, thank you so much for tuning in, for giving us this time with you away from your family. It has been awesome to listen. My hair was standing right through my body at some of the stuff that you were talking about. It's so awesome to see our very own. One of the guys that are from the district, someone that we can relate to, someone that you are a familiar face to us. You understand?
Yeah.
So thanks. I'm sure our listeners, if you've got some time, please go through the stream, then you can read. You're more than welcome to respond because it will stay on our page.
Okay.
So some of the comments, the guys are saying thank you. They're saying excellent show. Zane says you are as real as they come. So when's your next trip down? Do you know?
Actually wanted to come down for Christmas, because I haven't been down for Christmas in 10 years. Sure. But the new Omicron, the new variant, whatever that, messed that up. So hopefully at the end of the season, which is normally around May or June. So if everything goes well in terms of the COVID and the restrictions and the borders opening and closing and all those things, so hopefully will be the end of the season, because my family hasn't yet seen baby. So so hopefully, and God willing, it can happen in a couple of months.
Okay, awesome. Well, we hope you can.
You want those tops, sir? You want those tops?
Say something in French, please.
Rosanne et Tony, merci beaucoup pour votre entretien ce soir. Je me régalais très bien avec vous. C'était très bien de parler avec vous, de partager mon avenir, mon voyage, mon trajet jusqu'à ici aujourd'hui. Et je vous souhaite un bon voyage pour la suite. Merci beaucoup.
I got a lot of it.
Thank you and goodbye. That's all I got. That is all I got. That's all that counts, really. Yeah. Right, Jody, we out. We will catch you on the flip side, but we've got your number. We hope to see you. Please, you have to make some time out to come and see us so that we can at least take a picture or something when you are down. Let's see here.
We'll do.
To see Helen come out of Newlands. All right.
I'd love to see you.
Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you very much for having me. For all the listeners and everyone who's out there, thank you for taking the time and watching us and for your questions, some interesting questions. And for the youth that's out there, have a dream, follow your dream, and chase your dream. Don't let anybody tell you that.
Right. Short spots. We'll catch you later.
Keep well.
Whoa, sorry. I just cut him from the stream. Right, guys, that is us. We are now 10:07. We are going to say time out later so you can see we're having a whole Twitter check here.
And there was a fly, like wanting to get onto our levels.
This one's thirsty. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Talking because you're talk. Why? You should know better than to have an interview with Ross. Okay, that's we just talking to backstage to our guy. Guys, we're out. We're gonna love and leave you. And we will catch you. Who is Zane talking to?
He's staying narcissist words around. Not Zane, don't be naughty.
And we will catch you guys. If anything's moving and shaking Sunday, we will let you guys know. Well, you will see us on the screen. If not, next week Wednesday, let's talk at the fan zone. We've actually got. What are we doing next week?
I know what we're doing next week.
You know?
Yeah, we've got a very, very talented little boy that might be joining us.
Okay, cool. Week. So, you know what's moving and shaking? We will catch you guys on the flip side. Good night.
Bye.